So welcome to all the students for this special Unacademy class.
It is helicogaming gynostegia.
So welcome to this special Unacademy classes. Yes, friend, let me start today's. The topic is microbes in sewage treatment. So students, first of all, we should know what is meant by sewage. Sewage means municipal waste. Municipal waste. We are calling it as sewage. So we are calling municipal waste is called as a sewage. So let me talk about how this is going to be converted into the most toxic form into the less toxic form, students. So this is very simple topic which is of class 12. Now we know that large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities as well as in towns. Then it is a major challenge for all of you is if you discharge this directly into the natural water bodies, the entire water get polluted. And country like India, we are worshipping the rivers. So because it is a livelihood for so many people because of agriculture, drinking water purpose and all. So now what happened? No, due to the urbanization, the major problem which we are facing is pollution of water. So that's the reason why we came to one conclusion. So before releasing the water bodies, the sewage, so we have to do some process. So that is called as a STP, nothing but sewage treatment plant. So before going to know that, you have to understand, student, what is meant by sewage. So you have to keep in mind municipal wastewater is called as sewage. So it contains large amount of organic matter. So because of this organic matter only, so many microbes will grow. Because of that only pollution takes place. So many of them are pathogenic also. They cause a disease to everyone. So that's the reason why it is a requisite to do this some method that we call as a sewage treatment. So sewage is treated in sewage treatment plants to make it less polluting. So student, here we are not able to make it a zero pollution, but we can convert most toxic form into the less toxic form, from most pollution to least pollution, okay, with this STP. Now you need to understand, students, here how this wastewater can be treated means it is also by heterotrophic microbes. This is also by heterotrophic microbes which are naturally present in the sewage. This is also by heterotrophic microbes which are naturally present in the sewage. Now this treatment carries in two steps. One is primary treatment and the secondary treatment. Let me discuss about the primary treatment, students. You can see on your screen. So in primary treatment, it involves physical removal of particles of large and small from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. So in the very first step, students, we will do primary treatment. In the primary treatment, we'll remove the larger particles through filtration as well as sedimentation. So once you make it for sedimentation, the biggest particles, they will come to the bottom and the lighter particle will float, so that we can remove the larger particles through sequential filtration as well as sedimentation process, students. Then in this primary treatment, it can be done in a stage-wise manner. So initially floating debris removed by sequential filtration. You see, students, you are naturally observing here. Whenever you go out and you see this, you can see this. So what we have to do, that floating debris is then we have to remove by sequential filtration. Once you remove the sequential filtration, then you have to go for the sedimentation. Student, you can see here a big tank will be there. You see, so all the things based on the floating debris will be removed. Okay, based on this picture. Then once you remove the floating debris by filtration, then what about the grit? So what is a grit means? Students, it is a soil and small pebbles it is a soil and small pebbles. So that will be removed by the sedimentation. What is the sedimentation? Allowing it in a closed container for some time. Then what happen? All the grit will sediment at the bottom, or the grit will sediment at the bottom. Now all solids that settles from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms the effluent. All solids that settles from the primary sludge, okay, and supernatant form the effluent. Okay, so students, once you see this is a tank, no, then you can send the municipal waste like sewage here. Once you send sewage here, then some of the particles which they have the high molecular weight, okay, they sediment here. So this is called sedimentation, nothing but this is sedimentation part, and this is the supernatant part. So supernatant part, you can see this, students, this is only I'm showing here. You see this picture, this is the sedimentation part, and this is the sedimentation part. So now here what we have to see here is, so the sediment should be removed. You can see clearly on this. So once you remove these sediments, then you can send the supernatant for the next tank, that is called as a biological tank. You see here, the effluent from primary settling tank is taken into secondary treatment plant. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken to the secondary treating plant. So student, this is the beautiful picture which shows all the steps of STP. Okay, now let me talk about, students, a rough diagram which makes you to understand how this process works. So student, this is a primary settling tank. This is a primary settling tank. This is a biological tank or aeration tank, or this is a aeration tank. This is a aeration tank. This is a aeration tank. This is a secondary settling tank. This is a secondary settling tank. Students, do carefully you listen, then I will make you this concept very easy for all of you guys. Again, you should not worry about this concept, okay? Now students, you can ask your doubts in the comment box also, so that I can answer you all. So student, once you send sewage here, then what happened, you see here, this is, I told you already, STP method is of two types. One is primary treatment. So that I already told you now. Treatment is also called as biological treatment. So once the sewage comes here, so the suspenser, the supernatant is sent to this tank. Okay, this is disposed of. The sewage which is left, the sludge, that is disposed of for anaerobic digestion. Okay, in biogas it will use. Then students, once they used here, then you have to understand here, we are giving aeration. So once you give aeration, then heterotrophic organisms, I told you already, heterotrophic organism present in the sewage only. Heterotrophic organisms present in the sewage only. It will be activated and forms flocks. Then students, once flocks get generated, now the BOD values are going to be reduced. So what is BOD? I will tell you now. This is a biological oxygen demand, students, that I will teach you now. So now students, you have to keep in mind that high BOD is equal to high polluting potential. Whatever you send to this secondary settling tank, that is different process. If you want to use a drinking purpose, then you can go for a tertiary treatment also, but many times we can't use for that, and we will send directly to the natural water bodies. Now let me go to this let me go to the STP, students. So now just I'm erasing this, so hope you understand. So sewage has high BOD. So through sewage treatment plant, in biological method, we are generating flocks through constant aeration. So once you are generating flocks through constant aeration, then the BOD also will come down. So once BOD comes down, then you can also understand the most water potential, the polluting potential will get down to least polluting potential. So students, here you see the primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks where it is constantly agitated mechanically and air is pumped into it. And the air is pumped into it. Now, this allows the vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. So, this what is a flocks? I told you now itself. You see, students, this is a masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments. Masses of bacteria that are associated with the fungal filaments. So, these flocks, what happens, students? You see, yes, you see, guys here. Yes, while growing these aerobic microbes, these flocks are 100% aerobic. Please keep in mind. So biogas is anaerobic, that you know that. Biogas is anaerobic, but sewage treatment plant is, it is aerobic, students. Once you use flocks as aerobes, then you can understand this is going to be the major part in order to consume the organic matter. So if organic matter get consumed, then polluting potentials will come down. So I do repeat this sentence here. You can have a check it on your screen. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. While growing, these aerobic microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. So this significantly reduces the BOD. So that's what I told you. Less BOD means less polluting potential. You need to catch this point. That's it. If you catch this point, it's very simple. Now higher BOD means higher polluting potential. Higher polluting potential. So in this, students, BOD means biochemical oxygen demand. So let me talk about this BOD definition, students. So BOD refers to the amount of the oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water were oxidized by bacteria. So BOD refers to the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water oxidized by bacteria. So you see this point, students. The BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly BOD is a measure of organic matter. Simple, student. That's what I told you in my previous slide also. If more, say, let me talk about BOD means the amount of oxygen consumed by the bacteria present in a liter of sample, right? So if more microorganisms are there, means there is a more organic matter is there. So that's the reason why BOD is higher than. Okay. So now what we are doing is we are generating flocks through aeration method in aeration tank. Then these flocks are going to consume that organic matter. So in turn it reduces this one. So this is called as, yes. So after that, students, after you see here, the bottom gets sedimented. So this is called as activated sludge. Now you may understand, in primary settling tank, I told you the sludge, but in secondary means in aeration tank, I am calling it as a activated sludge. The reason is activated sludge means what? You need to understand flocks plus sludge. So because of flocks plus sludge, only because of activated sludge. So students, you need to understand the constant aeration is there. The consistent aeration we have to give, and it takes nearly 8 to 12 hours time to generate flocks. So instead of wasting that much of time, if you generate flocks, so first time it takes time to generate. So once it takes time, once you generate it, then no need to go depend on the aeration tank. Okay, then you can use it as an inoculum. Activated sludge, this is called as activated sludge. So activated sludge can be used as inoculum. Activated sludge can be used as inoculum. So as I told you earlier, the greater the BOD of wastewater, the more its polluting potential, right? Let's see this point. Students. So a small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into aeration tank. Why? As a inoculum. Students, you have to understand this point. Welcome to all the students who are joining the YouTube classes. So a small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank. To serve as the inoculum. You see, this is aeration tank. We are supplying air here. So, because why we are sending back? Because creating flocks is not that easy step. It takes some time. So instead of wasting that much time, already flocks is created. So instead of sending to the anaerobic sludge digester, so we can take a small part of the activated sludge and you can repost. You see the arrow mark is going to add it here. Then the supernatant, it will go for final sedimentation as output. So directly it can release it into the natural water bodies. Now, the remaining major part of the sludge is pumped into large tanks, call it as an anaerobic sludge digester. So, the remaining major part of the sludge is pumped into large tanks called as anaerobic sludge digester. So, through the anaerobic sludge digester, students, then biogas is going to be created. So here other kinds of bacteria which grows anaerobically. Point is very clear. So aerobic means STP. Flocks are aerobic. Okay. So STP, sewage treatment plants, completely STP process. Okay, is aerobic process. When it comes to anaerobic process, students, so this complete anaerobic process is there. No, this anaerobic process is biogas. Okay, you have to keep in mind. So during this digestion, the bacteria produces mixture of gases. So what is the mixture of gases, students? Methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. We are going to get methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. That methane which we are using for household purposes, methane gas. So this gas forms the biogas and is used as a source of energy as it is inflammable. You see here waste converting into biogas. So now the effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies. So you see students here, once this secondary treatment means the aeration tank is done. So once the flocks get generated and the flocks consume the organic matter, so POD is reduced down. So then we have to release into the natural water bodies like this. So these two pictures will make you to understand how this we have to release into the natural water bodies. So microbes plays a major role in treating millions of gallons of waste of water every day across the globe. So I do repeat again, microbes play a major role because the chapter name is what? Microbes human welfare. Okay, so this methodology has been practiced for more than a century now in almost all parts of the world. So till now no artificial technology is replace the students. Okay, now however the number of sewage treatment plants has not increased enough to treat such large quantities. As you know, student population in India is increasing. So then we need to develop so many STP plants. So for that government is supporting to get funded also. So now you see untreated sewage is often discharged directly into the rivers, leading to the pollution and increase in waterborne diseases. So because of population, if STPs are not increased, then we may face this problem. As we know, people in India and some of the developing countries, so we are not having that much of STPs. So what we will do, we'll do release directly into the rivers. So obviously what happens if you release into the rivers? So it leads to the pollution, and it also have a chances of increase in waterborne diseases, because people like we are depending on the lakes, we're depending on the rivers for drinking purpose also. Definitely if we consume that polluted water, we too also get the type of diseases. So diseases are waterborne, airborne. So here we are going to get the diseases through waterborne. So the Ministry of Environment and Forests has initiated the Ganga Action Plan and the Yamuna Action Plan. So Ministry of Environment and Forest, they have initiated the Ganga Action Plan and the Yamuna Action Plan to save the major rivers of our country from pollution. To save the major rivers of our country from pollution. So under these plans, it is proposed to build a large number of sewage treatment plants so that only treated sewage may be discharged into the rivers. So the main purpose of Ganga Action Plan as well as the Yamuna Action Plan, students, the the Ganga River and the Yamuna River. So the Ganga because river Ganges, right? So these are holy rivers. These are holy. We are worshipping. The reason is what? So it is giving so much of livelihood for so many farmers. Okay, to cultivate their crops. At the same time, it is used for drinking purpose also. But unfortunately, due to the rapid urbanization, due to the rapid industrialization, we are all releasing the pollutants, nothing but sewage, into the natural water bodies without knowing. So that's the reason why we are polluting this natural water bodies. So once we are polluting the water bodies, then the entire process, see the livelihood of the farmers, and that, see, main thing is, you know once minerals get deposited in the natural water bodies, after so many years, like 100 to 200 or 500, it depends. So eutrophication will happen, students. Eutrophication happens. So once, if eutrophication happen, you cannot see the rivers at all. I think now itself, you used to discuss with your parents also. Then what they used to tell is, 10 years back this is a river, now apartments came. So what does this means? When it's a river and we have released the waste bodies into that, so that is called mineralization. Once nutrients are rich, then eutrophication process takes place. So once eutrophication process takes place, students, then we are going to lose the 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 natural gift to all of us, students. So hope this is the topic for the day, STPs. Now another last point, you have to understand what is a bioremediation. See, students, you can clearly understand microbes can be used to remove toxic substances that are accidentally released into environment, such as oil or chemical spills and lands contaminated with toxic waste. So this process is known as bioremediation. This process is known as bioremediation. Students, you can see some pictures. So oil spills, so that you can clear the environment through microbes. So here have some quick objective, students, for all of you. So students, you can raise your doubts in your comment sessions. So municipal wastewater is called as, yes, students, anyone, you can answer in your YouTube. Yes, sewage. Super. Second question, sewage is treated in. You can give the answers in YouTube comment section. Sewage is treated in. Very good. Super. Sewage treatment plants. The sewage water is treated till dash is reduced. Third question, student. The sewage is treated till temperature, BOD, salinity and density. What is the answer? BOD. Super. So thank you, students. Any doubts, you can please. So today's session in this Unacademy special KCET live classes. Super students, Lena. So today in this special classes, what we studied is how this sewage will be treated. So before going to know, you have to know that if BOD is more, polluting potential is more. If BOD is less, polluting potential is also less. So primary method and secondary method. In primary method, we done sequential filtration and sedimentation, whereas in the secondary method, we have gone for biological method. In this biological method, we reduced the BOD, okay, through flocks. Bacteria and masses of filaments, we called it as masses.